So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. I was going to do a video the other day about something, but I got interrupted. And usually, when I get interrupted, that's usually the universe or the spirit telling me, don't make that. Don't say anything about that. So I did not post it. I have decided that I am no longer giving energy to certain things. I've decided that the only person that I'm giving energy to is me. There are things that happen to us in our lives. There are challenges that we have. I don't like to call them struggles because struggle means to be incapable of dealing with your challenges, in my opinion. I don't like that word struggle because struggle means that you are having a problem getting past or dealing with your challenges. And I've had many life challenges throughout my life, but I'm still here. Technically, I've lived in two centuries. I lived in the 20th century, and now I'm in the 21st century. Have people ever thought about that? So they call us Generation X or boomers and all these other things, but a lot of us have lived in two centuries. We lived in part of the 20th, and now we're living in the 21st. That's very special. That's a very special spiritual gift, if you ask me. We've all had challenges in our lives. I know I have. But I'm still here. Most of you know my story. I've dealt with abuse physically, mentally, and emotionally throughout my life at the hands of the Black community, men and women, both, family, fake friends, misguided gurus, male gurus. And then when you try to speak your truth in the age of social media, this type of talk gets subjugated to attacks from YouTube, from disgruntled listeners. Let me explain something to you. Let me explain something. See, I'm not afraid of the dark. I embrace it because you can learn a lot from the primordial darkness. You can learn a lot from that. But there are some of you that lurk in the dark, and you lurk in the dark because you're afraid of it. And you're afraid to turn on the light because you're afraid of what you'll find. YouTube is once again going around attacking people's accounts. And a lot of times we may think it's people that we don't like or haters, and it could be a combination of those things as well. But Spirit revealed something to me very interesting. YouTube, people that work at YouTube, they don't want people talking about authentic spirituality. They don't want people talking about witchcraft. They don't want people talking about any of those things. So I figured out what they do. They will have people, and they've been doing this for years, they will have people subscribe to your channel, monitor and go through your videos. And then after the person flags your video, they will unsub. So if you're noticing that there are people that are subbing and unsubbing to your channel, chances are it's somebody that works at YouTube that's doing that. Because YouTube has become an institution of injustice. And I'm not talking about no motherfucking conspiracy theories. I'm talking about real things that are happening, that I know that are happening. Not know what I think, it's what I know. So don't insult my motherfucking intelligence. YouTube. And that's for YouTube. They went back and age restricted a video that I did 4 years ago. There is no person that's going through 4 years of video archives to just age restrict a video that I did 4 years ago where I was blasting a dude named Eugene who had attacked me online. Okay? And I found that to be very interesting. 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I was 40 years old. 4 years ago, we were in a major global crisis. And you mean to tell me that the only thing that YouTube can do is age restrict a video? You age restrict my video, but you have people on here fighting each other, cursing each other out. You have people committing drug transactions on YouTube. You have people committing crimes on YouTube. But you age restrict a video that I did expressing my disgust for a diseased person, a person with a diseased mind who was harassing me on another platform. You have people putting out misinformation about the eclipse that is coming April the 8th. I believe it's April the 7th or 8th. There's supposed to be an eclipse. And you have people putting out fear-mongering misinformation, trying to create more low-vibrating emotions and fake conspiracy theories. But you don't flag or age restrict them. Some of these people have monetized channels, and I'm not worried about the views or anything like that. I don't care about views on YouTube. It's the work that I can do at my altar that I'm worried about. That is where I do my best work, at the altar. Okay? I take it to the Lord. And I don't mean Jesus. Okay? Just keep that in mind. I do my best work at the altar. So I'm not worried about YouTube views or monetization. I'm just making a point of reference. How YouTube has become a platform, or rather a cesspool, for celebrity gossip, weirdos, fighting, and ghetto ratchet people, particularly ghetto ratchet African American people. A friend of mine asked me a question the other day. He asked me, do I believe that white people really respect decent, kind, loving black people? And my answer to him was, yes, some white people do. But there is a large sector of white people, and I don't give a fuck who this offends. And if you white and you watch my channel, don't get offended because I'm not talking to you. But we have to be honest for a minute. There is a large sector of white people, and not just white people. I'm not just going to pick on y'all, but there's a large sector of people who are non-black who are invested in seeing the most ghetto the most ratchet and the most stereotypical black men and women. So I had to answer my friend's question in like it's like a double-edged sword. Yes, there are white people who do like educated, decent black people, but I've also seen white people who are intimidated by those types of black people, and they prefer black people who are ghetto, ratchet, and stereotypical because that oftentimes make them feel more superior. YouTube is an institution. It is an institution, and it's all about bringing in revenue. And black people online walking in their own spells and curses, their own self-inflicted curses. Black people online who are ghetto, ratchet, attacking each other, they bring YouTube revenue even if they're not even getting any money in their own pockets. So I understand what's really going on. But people that talk like this, like me, and the others that do talk like me, what they what they'll do is they'll trap us in a certain algorithm and they will make it impossible for our channel to grow because we're not acting out in the stereotypical way that most black people do. YouTube, even though the CEO is I think he's an Indian man, YouTube is still ran by the Good Old Boy Network. And the Good Old Boy Network don't give a fuck about black people. They don't give a fuck about other white people. The only thing they give a fuck about is views, money, revenue, and expansion. That's it. They don't want you listening to wise women. They don't want you listening to the few wise men that there may be floating around, such as myself. They don't want you listening to that. They want you listening to bogus conspiracy theories, fear mongering, lies, deception, gossip, tearing down people's lives. They have allowed people to build platforms on YouTube to tear down other people's lives. But then you go back 4 years and you age restrict a video that I did 4 years ago. And then what's interesting is that the two subscribers that I had gained, then they unsubbed and left after that video was age restricted. So I see the game that YouTube plays. I see the game that they play. You want to silence people no matter what their color is. I just brought up the racial factor to make as a point of reference to make a point. But YouTube wants to silence people who are voices of reason. But they have allowed YouTube to be basically invaded by talentless celebrities, talentless gossip vloggers. They put them in the right algorithm. They put them in the right algorithm. And again, I don't care about views. This is just a point of reference. Now, YouTube said that it was going to cut to be a little bit more strict on conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But you have people with whole channels who make up lies and bogus conspiracy theories, especially in the past 4 years. And then when you go and do your own research, you'll be like, well, that's not really true. That's not what was really said, or that's not the whole story. They allow people to put up bogus information. For example, there are multiple accounts on YouTube, and these people have hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And these people post videos lying, saying that certain people, well, celebrities, have passed away, and none of these celebrities have actually passed away. It's all lies. It's like hypnotic propaganda. Or are they trying to do death magic on the person so they will die? Are they trying to put that out into the universe? I mean, I look at all possibilities. But YouTube does not age restrict them. They allow them to monetize channels like that. They allow them to do that. And it really makes you wonder about the former CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki or something like that, and what happened to her son in that dorm room. It really makes you wonder as far as, let's just say, defining judgment forces. I'm going to say it that way. People that are spiritually in tune, you know what I'm talking about. Because her son was found unalived in his dorm room, and allegedly it was supposed to have been of a drug overdose, if I'm not mistaken. Why was she removed as, or why did she step down as the CEO of YouTube? YouTube has gotten subsequently worse with its content. As a small content creator, you can barely get to 1,000 because they have allowed celebrities to take over the scope of YouTube. They've allowed them to come on here and just take over. They can get their channels monetized like that. I'm just pointing things out. And some of these people, these celebrities or fake celebrities, whatever you want to call them, some of them they be on here doing some of the most ratchet stuff. But YouTube allows them to make money. They don't age restrict them. They don't bother them. But they allow other people to bother people. They allow other people to falsely flag people. Why would what I don't understand is this. Why is YouTube so invested in fucking with my channel? I have an unmonetized channel. I'm not really looking to get it monetized because you have to go through too many things, at least not this channel. There's another channel that I have that I'm not going to mention, where I do something totally different. Totally different. Okay? I may mention it one day, but right now I just don't want to. Why is YouTube, if it's not about the money, because I'm not making any on this channel, and that's okay. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about making a whole bunch of money on no YouTube. YouTube is a place for me to come and share my own gift, which is speaking on spirituality, breaking down the subconscious barriers that keep us locked out of our own spirit, and how different life situations and challenges can hinder our spiritual journey. Those are the things that I like to talk about. So I'm really not interested in views or monetization, but I'm just pointing this out for people who may be trying to build their channel. YouTube almost forces you to have to go up under another human being in order for you to even reach 1,000. People have to really shout you out and tell people to check your channel out. And even that comes with a price, because then that person may want something in return. So don't shout out my channel. I'm good. I don't need nobody doing that. Then I noticed too that when I spoke about the Shylights and Joe Jackson the other day, and when I spoke about child exploitation the other day, that is when I felt the energy started to shift, which I can feel it because I'm just that good. I can feel when the energies and the dimensions start to shift. And I can tell that there were individuals that had an issue with what I said, but guess what? I don't give a fuck because ain't nobody gonna stop this mouth from ever talking on this channel. And I'm not saying that to the people that watch me and the people that really rock with me. Anytime I hear any type of allegations that I heard in that story, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. It didn't come from me, but I'm going to talk about it, especially when I can use it as a point of reference. And that's exactly what I was trying to do. It wasn't really about talking about celebrities. I don't give a fluke about celebrities, but it's just looking at the bigger scope of how babies and children have been exploited and harmed in this current frequency that we live in. Do people really think that what was going on over there on that island with Epstein and them, do you really think it was just about sex? It wasn't just about sex. And I'm not going to say what else it was about, but you just use your brains that God gave you. Think about what I'm saying. It wasn't just about sex. It was about other things that they were doing too, that I'm not going to really get into. But YouTube, of course, doesn't like you to talk about things like that. That makes them uncomfortable. But what doesn't make them uncomfortable is exploiting black women on YouTube. That doesn't make them uncomfortable. When a black woman says somebody's harassing me, somebody's stalking me, somebody's doing X, Y, and Z to me, what does YouTube do about it? Zilch. They don't do anything about it. And then people wonder why witchcraft is necessary. Not just for that, but just in general, why it's important. I heard Erica Alexander, the actress, saying that her grandmother was a witch, and I think then the grandmother went back to Christianity, and then when she went back to witchcraft, she died. That's some bullshit. Your grandmother died because it was her time. She tried to make the point that God punished the grandmother for going back to witchcraft. That's some bullshit. You better learn witchcraft because that's our only defense against a lot of things like this. You better know how to use the craft responsibly, of course. They let her say that on YouTube. I have seen YouTube allow people to degrade and say sexualized things about minors, and their channels are still up, not age restricted or anything. But because I'm cussing out another grown ass man, because I'm cussing out another grown ass black man, they want to come and age restrict my video, which is fine. They can do that because I have backup channels anyway. YouTube, fuck your monetization program. I do not want to be up under your frequency in that way because I am not going to adjust to injustice. I'm not going to adjust to spiritual injustice or any type of injustice, but especially spiritual injustice. I'm not going to adjust to that. YouTube gives birth to fake occultist, fake spiritualist, fake whatever. They give birth to that. Let me give you an example. Since when I was looking at a live of Carlos King, the black gay guy who has been a producer. At one point, I think he was a producer on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. He has his own YouTube show and all that now. See, this is what I'm talking about. The Libra. Who was that talking about? Who was he interviewing? He was interviewing Marlo Hampton. And Marlo, I'm giving you the side eye because since when is Carlos King spiritual? Oh, she said, oh, he can say a good prayer. Of course he can, because he's up under the Yahweh effect. He's a son of Yahweh. He's a son of Yahweh. And I know what you all are thinking, but doesn't the Bible condemn homosexuality? Yeah, it does. But that's all a facade. They don't really condemn it. See, up under the brotherhood and up under the um what do I call it? Up under the Yahweh effect. Homosexuality is okay when it's being practiced for ritualistic purposes. Carlos King is ritualistic. He's not spiritual. He's a ritualistic gay person. He's not spiritual, Marlo. There's nothing spiritual about him. Just because a person may be a producer or they may get into that particular world of reality TV, that does not make them a spiritual person. It does not. He is not spiritual. And that's what I'm saying. YouTube gives birth to fake spiritualist people. And they expect us to follow suit. And I'm not going. I'm not buying it. YouTube, years ago, YouTube really used to be a good platform for just your average person. And I've talked about this before, where you could come and talk about your ideas and your ideologies and stuff like that. I'm going to be honest with you, and this is just my personal opinion. You know, I think the worst thing that could have happened to YouTube was monetization. When they started allowing people to monetize their videos, that was the beginning of the end of YouTube, because it became less and less about meaningful conversations and creativity, and it became more and more about being savage and trying to get as many views as you possibly could to outview another person. When real people who are on real spiritual paths, who are real spiritually sounded people, we don't care anything about views. Because, like I said, I do my best work at the altar. I do my best work dealing with nature. That's where I do my best work. Communicating with God or the God force or the high spirit or the universe and interpreting what's going on. Just like I brought up a couple of minutes ago, how there are people putting out misinformation about the eclipse. Just like they did in 2008, they put out misinformation about the presidential election between Bush and Obama during Obama's first term. They said that Bush was going to declare martial law and cancel the 2008 elections. They had everyone on edge and everyone afraid that Bush was going to stay in office. Now you don't even see any Bushes anymore around. Where are all the Bush family members? You don't even see any Bush family members around anymore. Not in politics. I think Jeb Bush, the brother, he at one point, at one time, he was the governor of Florida. But they had everyone scared, these weirdo conspiracy theorists on YouTube. They had everyone scared, telling lies. Now, I do think that when there's smoke, there's fire sometimes, but I tread very lightly when I talk about things like that. And I try to interject some intellect and logic because I do understand that life can imitate art and everything is not always what we may seem it or what we may see it to be. I get that. But some of the ridiculous things people have said over the past 15 years, they have not come into fruition. But what they do is they try to use our subconscious mind as a projector so these things can manifest. And then when you try to talk about things like that on YouTube, which YouTube used to be about giving clarity and bringing some forms of truth, when you used to, when we, you know, when we used to do that, or when you do that, YouTube will attack you. They will attack your channel. They will trap you in a certain algorithm, and they will make it impossible for your channel to grow. And they do that to so many content creators on YouTube, especially the ones who are authentic and the ones who are speaking from the heart and who have a lot of passion. That's what they do. You have people on YouTube talking about, oh, disease X is coming, and and all this stuff that's going on with the eclipse and all that. I mean, just these hysterics. Then I remember a time back in 2008, they were telling people, oh, everybody's getting ready to end up in FEMA camps. They're kind of alleging that this eclipse, some kind of way, people are going to all end up in FEMA camps now again. Then when none of this stuff happens, these people disappear. They disappear. So my question is, who are these people? Where do they come from? And see, this may sound kind of conspiracy theory right here, what I'm getting ready to say, and I'm not saying that it's true, but are these government agents? Are these agents? Are they? Then again, they may not be. They could just be deranged people. It's like every 3 or 4, 5, 6, 10 years, somebody comes out talking about the world is getting ready to end. I saw somebody talk about um, don't go outside during the eclipse, April the 8th. Do you know how many eclipses the world has had since the dawn of time? Eclipses are not, eclipses are, it's when the moon covers the earth's shadow. That's it. Now, there can be some spiritual meanings behind it. There could be certain works people can do, but I'm not going to get into all that. But the fact that they are making this into something negative, that the connotation of that is insidious. And the fact that YouTube does not address that, but they want to address me cursing out a no good ass motherfucking Negro 4 years ago, the fact that they went through all of that just to do that, it really lets you know what YouTube is about. And they ain't about shit. You have whole sectors of black people degrading each other, tearing each other down, fighting online, doxing each other, going to meet up to fight each other. But that's the type of shit that YouTube likes to promote. And they let those people monetize their channels. They let them monetize their channels. They don't age restrict their channels. But you want to come over here and fuck with me on an unmonetized channel? Make it make sense. Sipping some water. YouTube, I don't need you. And I think that my relationship with YouTube is going to be ending very soon because I don't need YouTube. YouTube, you need me. And you need people like me. We don't need you. I can live without YouTube. I can live without YouTube. One of the fear mongering things that they're saying is that this eclipse will bring about some type of reset where we won't have modern technology. And they're trying to say that this is the reason why so many billionaires and multi-billionaires are building underground, I don't want to call them bunkers, but underground living places to live underground and doing all this other stuff because something is coming. Something is coming. Something is coming. And the rest of us are doomed and all of this gloom and doom shit. I mean, this is people propagate this stuff all the time. At first, it was 2020. We got through the panty. We got through the panty. We got through that. We got through all of that. They thought that was going to be the end of the world. And you know, people were really, really hoping for the end of the world. And you know, most of the people that were hoping for it were Christians. They are so miserable in the world that they want everyone else to be miserable like them. So now I guess now we're at another place now where they're cooking up a new scheme. Okay, we couldn't get them with the panty. We couldn't get them with the panty in 2020. We couldn't get them with the thing. We couldn't get them with that. So now we're going to try something. Oh, now, aha, the eclipse is coming. So now we're going to tell them that that's going to be the end of the world. I remember years ago when I was up at night, you know, late when I was a teenager, there was a show that used to come on called Jack Vanapee Presents. He was a minister, had a television show. Him and his wife Rexella. He has since passed away, and he would talk about the end of the world and how Jesus was going to come back and the Antichrist was going to come to power and all of these different things. And what people don't understand is that Antichrist is not a person. It's not one person. There are multiple Antichrists. And a lot of them are people that you love. And I'm not going to mention no names. One of them is a black woman, but I ain't going to name who she is. An Antichrist is a person that is a fake spiritual person who uses fake illusionary methods to make you think that they're spiritual to hide who they really are. And there are many of them, and it's not just in Hollywood. Evil does not just exist in rich people. It's just that because YouTube has allowed the misuse of their platform, you would think that evil is only among rich people. There's some rich people that are very kind, giving, caring people, and some of them may even be in Hollywood. Everybody is not the same, but because of the misuse of this platform and how it propagates negativity to keep people trapped in a much lower dimension and a much lower frequency and vibration. And I know I'm being lame in saying that, but y'all get the drift because of YouTube and how they, and social media in general. We get all the humiliation rituals and all that. We get it. We know what goes on in Hollywood. We get it. Got it. But everything is not a boogeyman waiting to jump out of the closet. People sitting around being afraid of demons when the people, the things you really need to be afraid of is other people because they are the greatest evil in the world and beyond. People, humans. Not all, but enough. And I think one of the greatest evils of the world is to manipulate the minds of people who don't know any better. I think one of the greatest evils of the world is to keep propagating fear and depression and oppression constantly over and over again. The world is going to end. Nuclear war. The eclipse is going to be the end of the world. The panty is going to be the end of the world. It's another panty coming. This, that, this, da 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 da. I mean, it just never stops. It just never stops. And I'm just here to, like a Jan Levin says, I'm here to disrupt that pattern. Because the world can be a beautiful place if you want it to be. But that's up to you. I don't choose to live in fear and mayhem all the time. There are things I'm concerned about, but that's not going to consume me. Because while people may be mighty, God, the universe, and spirit is almighty. The high spirit is almighty. Whatever that may mean to you in your practice, whoever that may be to you. People are misguided so much, so much that they think that spirituality is reading a book. Excuse me, blowing my nose. They think that you can get all spiritual knowledge from a book. Spiritual knowledge and spiritual wisdom does not come from a book. It comes from your heart. And that is why so many people are fucked up because they're trying to intellectualize spirituality. They're trying to intellectualize spirituality. And those of us who are connected to the force or the divine force, those of us who are really connected to it, we see the bullshit, but they try to silence us because they may have better access to algorithms. They may have more access to money and agents and different people to help them appear to be something that they're not. Real spiritual people, we're not supposed to be in the front. We're not supposed to be in the back. We're not even supposed to be on the side. We're supposed to be everywhere because we're multidimensional. I think that's all I have to say. Um, this is the occult view. Um, don't fall for the bullshit. Don't fall for the bullshit. YouTube, YouTube, whoever, you can flag, you can age restrict because this is psychological warfare. And I've been dealing with these types of monsters all my life, whether it be in the school system whether it be in my family or whether it be personal friends. I've dealt with these types of monsters all of my life. And see, these are the true monsters right here. These are the true monsters right here that try to silence you, that try to manipulate your mind so you just don't know whether you're coming or going. Every time you turn around, it's something they're telling you to be afraid of. But YouTube allows their platform to be used for that because YouTube is part of the bigger universal problem. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you.